Ladies and gentlemen, the stage we have all been waiting for. Okay, that was way too dramatic. Speaking of drama, it is the final stage of the 2025 Dakar Rally. Getting ready to get kicked off here in just a little bit. First wave of bikes, because we're back to a mass start for the final stage. Kind of a tip of the hat all the way back to when they were starting on the beach in Senegal, near the area of Senegal, Luroc, on their way to Dakar. So that was where these things originally started. But that's it, guys. I don't know. We were talking about predictions. We were talking about all of that stuff. And, well, it's time to find out how this is going to go down. We'll look at the entry or the starting list here in just a minute because I'm kind of curious to see who's in the first row. It is going to be in waves of 15 for the bikes, and then it'll be a 4-vehicle wide wave for the vehicles, obviously. So let's talk a little bit about it. First bike is going to be leaving. The first wave of bikes leaves at 6:15 p.m., or that would be 7:15 p.m., which is roughly about 45 minutes ago. And that would be at 6:15 a.m. their time. So that is the planned launch for that. First wave of bikes is scheduled to leave at 8 a.m. in Saudi, which is going to be 9 p.m., just a little under an hour from now. So here we go. I'm curious to see this. So map is up on the screen if you guys want to see it. Not a whole lot to talk about today. Well, it is a short stage. The liaison longer than the actual racing miles back or racing kilometers back. 70-kilometer liaison to head out to the start line. And then these guys are going to be racing back 62 kilometers to get back to the finish camp. So very interesting to see how this is all going to pan out. Man, I got a feeling at this stage, it's all dunes pretty much. 19% sand, 81% dunes. So the terrain could be an interesting thing. Dunes, the strong suit is there. How are the dunes? There's been talk about the dunes being kind of loose. They did have fog in the area yesterday. I don't know how dense it was and if it was even enough to create some real mass like condensation on the dunes and kind of tighten them up a little bit. I don't think that was enough for that. It was enough to keep the helicopters from flying. Obviously, you guys know they shortened the motorcycle stage yesterday to about 157 kilometers. So didn't get the run that we wanted to see. I was hoping to see a little bit more, maybe tighten up that 1 to 2 gap a little bit between Daniel Sanders and Tasha Sharena. But it didn't work out that way. So we're about to see. Let's go over. I'm going to take a look here at the starting order really quick in the app, and let's see what it looks like. Who is in that first wave starting list for the final stage? Stage number 12, the first 15 FIM. Interesting. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so first wave, Ahmed Albagir, Simon Marquet, James Hillier, Matthew DeVasey, Mark Hamlet, Robbie Wallace, Paolo Lucci, Willem Avenant in the number 8, Ignacio Sachis, Hiri Bros, Martin Proques, Ottavio Missoni, Muran Peredurge, Jim Mosea, and Jean-Philippe Rivolte. What that tells me is that is inverted start, meaning if you're towards the back of the pack of the bikes, you're going to be one of the first rows out. So for our guy, Willem Avenant, going to be getting to lead out that first stage in a mass start in the dunes. I can only imagine the excitement for him in being able to compete in this rally. And then not only that, but, making it all the way to the end. That's really the goal, like I said, for about 90% of the people that are there is just get to the end of this thing. Jordan Strachan as well. He is there. There was a post from him earlier today talking about the dunes and just how soft they were, but, at the end of stage 11. So that means they've only got a short 62 kilometers to make it to get to that finisher's podium. So best of luck to them in the last stage. I think this is going to be awesome for them. So let's take a look who is going to be what I'm assuming now is going to be the last row of bikes. You're going to have Daniel Sanders. There's 90 bikes, 90 competitors left at this point. You've got Daniel Sanders, Tasha Sharena, Adrian Van Beveren, Luciano Benavides, Ricky Brabeck, Skylar House. That's 5. Nacho Cornejo, Edgar Canet, Tobias Ebster, Stefan Svitko, Ray Gonsalves. That's going to be 10. And then 5 more. Romain Dumatier, Tony Mulek, Niels Therick, Michael Doherty and Dusan Drajad. That is awesome. And man, there's a population of Rally 2 guys in there on that final row. So they will be the final row to take off. Final row of 15 leave the start. They're going to have a lot of tracks. And this is interesting enough. I'm kind of curious, being at the back of the pack, they are going to have tracks to follow. If they get separated, will they turn into a couple of groups and follow different tracks? Sanders basically knows just to stick with Tasha, just to make sure they're on the same page, so to speak. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of strategy, even though it's only 62 kilometers. I mean, it's either nothing's going to happen or everything's going to happen. And if it could go wrong, it is the final stage of the rally. These guys are professionals. It shouldn't be a surprise. 62 kilometers should just be a walk in the park. 6x6, you're talking about a 36 mile-ish stage. So it's not a lot, but it is all dunes, or for the most part, dunes. So we'll see. We'll see how it breaks down. But what do you guys think? Are we going to see any big moves? It's the final stage of the Dakar. We're going to find out in a few hours who is going to be on that podium for the 2025 Dakar Rally. So with that being said, guys, we'll cut it out tonight. We got to get to bed, and we'll see you guys in the morning for the results show. And hopefully we'll be announcing the overall winners as well. So remember, it'll make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride.